Hello, I'm Dan from Fishbulb Films and this is our review of the Teradek Ace 500 HDMI wireless video transmitter and receiver set. Now for most productions it's essential to have external monitors on your set for your cast and crew. Whether it be for the first AC for them to pull focus, for a script supervisor to check continuity, or the most obvious one so a director can watch each of the takes and make notes on performance. Of course, it goes without saying that wireless video is just that little bit more useful. In theory, it cuts down on cable runs. It means multiple monitors can receive the same feed. The feed can be watched from a separate room even, so that people can talk without the fear of being caught on mic. But is the Teradek Ace 500 the wireless video system to go for? With any wireless video system, it's an essential question to ask, is there any latency? It's especially important if your first AC is using it to focus pull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass our Teradek 500 transmitter over to our wide camera, and I'm going to plug the receiver into our CAME TV monitor here. So whilst that's being plugged in on our wide camera, what I'm going to do is plug it into our monitor here. So it is literally just a DC input which is coming off a V-lock battery on the back of this monitor, and then an HDMI output from the receiver into the monitor. Well, as you can see, there's virtually no latency whatsoever. In fact, Teradek say that with the Ace 500 you can transmit and receive lossless, uncompressed 1080 signals with less than 1 millisecond of latency. That's insane. It means you're pulling focus and there's literally no difference than if you were next to the camera focusing with an assistant monitor. Of course, here we've got the transmitter and receiver pretty much next to each other. So is the signal affected by distance? Well, apparently the Ace can transmit and receive a signal up to 500 feet. So let's test it out. So we've got the monitor here and Duncan is just outside the building with the camera connected to the Teradek. As you can see, we've still got a very nice feed, taking into account that this building is made mostly of metal and it's also going through walls. It's pretty impressive. The camera's probably about 300 feet away at this point and we've still got a very nice feed. So if Duncan starts walking away from where we're based right now, and we'll just see how it fares with distance. So still nice and crisp, all good, no dropouts. Still going, which is pretty impressive. We probably are getting onto, there we go, just getting a bit of dropout now, a few artifacts on screen, a lot of artifacts on screen, and that is probably the limit. Obviously, line of sight, you're going to get better reception, but considering that's going through a lot of walls, that is pretty impressive. And there we go, we lost the signal. So I'll allow Duncan to come back in to the warm now, and that's a really good example of how far the Teradek Ace can actually transmit its signal. Just a quick break to remind you that here at Fishbulb Films we don't just produce product reviews. Our YouTube channel is always being updated with loads of content such as behind the scenes videos from our latest projects, how-to videos, and interviews with industry professionals. So hit the subscribe button and make sure you're the first to see these brand new videos. As for mounting options, the Ace 500 has a 1/4-20 on the bottom of both the transmitter and the receiver, and two 440 holes as well, again on the transmitter and the receiver. This means that you can mount the Ace in a variety of options. You can see that we've mounted the Ace 500 on a ball head bracket, and this is so that we can position it wherever we want on the camera. We've decided to have it pointing up. This is what we usually do. We're not entirely sure if it makes a difference, but we recommend for best practice having it facing upwards is going to have the best results. So now let's look at the powering options. With the Ace 500 you get a number of powering options for the transmitter, and it really depends on what availability you have on your rig. For us, we use a 12-volt DC cable, which can plug straight into our battery pinch. However, if you don't have a 12-volt option, you can use D-tap power, which most pinches will have, or you can use D-tap straight out of the battery, which a lot of V-Lock batteries also have. The one letdown on this unit is the lack of battery support on the unit itself. Before Teradek bought this design, Paralinx units would accept standard Sony NP batteries, but for some reason Teradek have decided to remove that feature on their reworked design. For the receiver, it's similar options. You can plug it in via a DC 12-volt power cable or a D-tap as well, but the receiver is less likely to move about, so you can plug it into the mains. It really depends on your setup. For us, we found the best option was to attach the receiver to the back of our monitor, and I'll show you sort of how that works. So on the back of our monitor, we have our V-Lock battery, and it also offers us a D-tap output from that V-Lock battery, which means that we can simply plug the receiver straight into the back of the monitor, and then using this Velcro, we can attach the receiver to the monitor so that we can have a completely portable monitoring solution on our sets. Now, the important part, the price. Currently, you can get the receiver and transmitter set for just over £1,000 or $1,300. There are a few alternatives at either end of the scale. Obviously, at the higher end, if you want HDSDI, longer range, you've got units such as the Teradek Bolt, which can go up to 3,000 feet, but it will also set you back a hefty £10,000 or thereabouts. At the lower end of the scale, there's some interesting new products coming through, such as the CineEye. At just £170, this gizmo transmits 1080 HDMI signals to up to 4 simultaneous iOS or Android devices. No good if you want to use a professional grade monitor, and for us the latency, although advertised as sub 100 milliseconds, was just too much for us to use wireless follow focus. That said, it's a fantastic entry-level product and may also be used in conjunction with something like the Teradek, allowing different departments to have their own monitor and avoiding Video Village crowding. So that's it for our review of the Ace 500. If you'd like to see more honest product reviews, tips and tricks for practical filmmaking and behind the scenes on our projects, click the subscribe button and we'll see you next time.